So now we have two generations here sitting with us. We have both Sheldon and Solo. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Sam, their grandfather, here today. But if he was here, what would we, how do we describe him?
He's pretty serious, but he's got his quirkiness and some humor to him. Yeah, some people may equate it to.
He's like a dark Mysterio guy too.
Yeah, we all kind of have that calmness, that chill, can't really completely read you type of thing. And I think that's like our default.
Is it?
Like, yeah, it's like our default setting. But you know, with the lights and the cameras, it's cool, put on for you a bit.
You share his middle and his last name.
Yeah, it's like 5 generations of us. Well, it started with Samuel Luther Bailey, then it was Samuel Lee Bailey, then it was Samuel Laurel Bailey, Sheldon Laurel Bailey, and then Solomon Laurel Bailey.
How do you think that how you're raising him differs from how your father raised you?
I believe it's pretty similar. Actually, I definitely took a lot of notes and a lot of things from my dad. And my mother and my grandmother, because those are the 3 components that raised me. You know, there's a spirituality sense to our life, and that came from my parents, but really my grandmother. I think we've gotten to a good place. I felt for a while that maybe I used to yell at him too much whenever he was like a little kid, but he really didn't. I mean, he just didn't listen. I was frustrated at times that I didn't really know exactly how to communicate to him what he needed to
hear.
Yeah, and to do. I think I give Solomon certain liberties that I think maybe only a man kind of can understand, to allow your son to have some particular space to do certain things, or just, you know, to allow him to go to this place and not have to, you know, look over him, or just trust, or know he knows that there's certain consequences if, you know, you don't respect these boundaries that I'm giving you and things like that. I think my dad allowed me some of those opportunities, and I think as a young man it's important to have that space to be able to potentially make some mistakes. Certain mistakes you just can't make though.
Yeah.
For sure, and that was instilled in me and him. I've brought him on set many times in his life to show him that these things are attainable. This is a career path that you can have. Because for me, being all the way in Germany, I had certain aspirations, but the tangibility of it seemed quite difficult or very far. And so I wanted him to, I believe that. Yeah, and I think I've instilled that into him.
Is there anything you feel that you can't talk to your dad about?
Nothing really.
Or that you won't?
He says that, but he is reluctant to talk about things at times. So yeah, I could probably get it out of him, but I have to work for it.
What's something where you find that is challenging?
I don't know, just sometimes getting you to share about your emotions.
This is weird.
See, there it is, right there. It's weird.
It's not hard, it's just weird.
Well, we have to work through that sometimes. How do you feel, Solomon? What's going on?
It's just odd. It's just an odd question. We out of nowhere too. It's like, what are we eating?
What is it like? When's a good time to ask?
I don't know.
It's nothing he won't talk to me about, but it's weird.
Why is it weird?
I don't know. It's just my dad.
What do you think a dad's role or responsibility is supposed to be?
To protect the kids until they're old enough to like take on the world by themselves, basically.
But apart from that, don't ask me about my feelings.
No, it's important. And this is the thing about masculinity, and you know, I think it's important that men can talk about the feelings. And so, even though he feels uncomfortable about it, it needs to happen. So, we'll talk about it. You know, and I saw my father be frustrated at times. I saw my father cry at times, you know what I mean? So showing that vulnerability and that human side of things is definitely like instilled in me. And I want my son to not be so hardened by life or what it is to be a black male or whatever, you know what I mean? That he can't be in touch with who he is, and to be able to express it to whoever he wants to, whenever he wants to.
Solo, is there anything that you feel like your dad's generation doesn't understand about yours?
They don't understand like style or anything. Like he's gotten it like now. Like I seen some of his old pictures. He used to dress trash. Like whenever he was my age, he used to wear like church clothes and stuff.
I mean, but y'all wearing almost the same type of t-shirts with dresses. Now y'all actually wearing dresses. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
It's just like a disconnect. Like the fashion is just
a bit.
Hard disconnect.
I like bridge the gap.
he's intermediate. He's sometimes some of his outfits are questionable, some of them are dope.
Any gifts you'd like to give him that you don't know if you've necessarily received just yet? Something you want him to come away with?
I mean, we can always be better, but I really appreciate everything that has happened and occurred between us until this point. I had a vision about how I wanted to raise my son and how I would hope he would be. And to be honest with you, I feel really good about the things that we have accomplished and where he stands as far as his development as a young man. I'm good. I just continue to get better every day, get better as frequently as we can, and just continuing to be great human beings, strong men and influential men in a positive way. Like, keep taking it. I thought my uncle dad was great. I think I'm a pretty great dad. And I know my son to be, an amazing father too.